All right. Again, this is getting absolutely insane. So hopefully you guys are finding me here. Let me see if I can. Okay, let me go to my other stream and do this. Give me a minute, people. Hopefully that worked. I don't know if that will give you the right link. Hopefully that worked. We'll see. Okay. People coming in. There we go. Can you hear me and see me? Do we need to give YouTube the smackdown again? Tell them to stop messing up my live streams, for crying out loud. So, again, this is the live pre-show show. This is serves a few purposes. It helps me get people to go see the regular, skillet for YouTube. No kidding, Gudrun. To see the longer form show on the grains. I had a backup for that, but I didn't expect with such a short, you know, pre-show that I was going to get cut off again. So very, very irritating. So let me quickly recover what I covered, because I don't know where I got cut off at. It seems like it must have been right at the very beginning. Absolute insanity. So frustrating. So anyway, today on the live show later from my Rain Country 2 or Rain Country Live channel, you will find that I'll be talking about grains and storing and milling and a bunch more. It's one of my favorite topics to talk about. So every year or two, I'll cover it again, because sometimes things change a little bit. And then the other thing I like to do on these brief lives that I do Sundays here is just to show off something. And right now, my main focus is my antique and or vintage my antique or vintage books. So today, I could do this all over again. I was just blabbing away. I thought you guys were talking about being cold when you were saying frozen. I wasn't getting it. It was like, then I saw, wait a minute, what's happening? So anyway, so this book, I think somebody sent this to me. You got to see this. National Formulary, 5th edition, 1926. Now, how cool is that? Now, if you're like me, when I first saw that, I'm like, formulary? What the world does that even mean? I'd never actually heard that word before. So, okay, what's going on now? I got to watch, because it's like, good grief, is something else happening? So, anyway, what this is, it is a book of recipes for homemade medicines, tinctures and whatnot. And a lot of the titles appear to be in Latin, and there's a lot of handwritten notes in here. So even like there. And then at the end, at the very back, somebody wrote their own recipes in here. Now, the picture is kind of not super great. But anyway, how cool is that? And there are a lot of recipes in here. And the fact that this goes back to 1926, I mean, it's almost antique. It's a year shy of being antique. So very, very cool. I'd actually forgotten I had it. And I was kind of looking through some of my older books. I'm like, oh yeah, because I actually have them all over the house. Because I think they look so cool. So I have some over here in this corner back here. I have some over by my sewing machine. I've got some in the living room, just kind of sitting cool, just everywhere, because they're cool. And it's not only is it something that do I love antiques and vintage items, and always have since I was a little kid. Something like these books are usable items that were actually at one time made to last. They have so much more value than just the fact that they're antique. There's just so much cool stuff about them, useful things about them. So I absolutely love that. And it's why I collect. I already have my one that I'm going to show you guys next Sunday sitting here. I'm excited about that one too. It's like, man, I've been collecting these books for so long, I've forgotten just what all I have. Somebody said old books and old sheet music. Yeah, very cool. So anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. And then I was going to show you another thing too. So some of you might remember um, for my birthday last year, I was gifted a coffee plant that my friend had started from seed from her own coffee plant that she's been growing for a few years. And when I got it, it was that big. It was just this little tiny thing. Now, coffee plants can grow pretty slow, but I wanted to show you the progress so you can see how it looks almost a year later. Well, it's probably at least a year old. I don't know how old it was when she gave it to me, but she gave it to me on my birthday and she'd already had it going for a little while. So it's really grown. So I keep it, it needs to be in a warm place, but it also needs a lot of light and needs moisture. So keeping it in the living room right in my south facing window has been a good thing for it. So that's pretty exciting. It I'll probably still have at least another 2 years before it starts. Are you kidding me? Please, no. Is this going to be like this all day? T says I'm frozen again. Sorry, this is okay. 5 Foot Garden says good here, still good here. Wendy says, I hear and see. Okay. T, is it you? Is it your fault? Okay, good. Oh, good. I mean, I was starting to get a little I don't know. It's like I don't need that kind of stress, man. But um anyway, T, I'm sorry that it sounds like it was your end. If you can hear me at all, hopefully just rebooting. I'm not seeing anything on my end. I'm seeing usually what happens when I get cut off, I see a little bar show up that says warning, blah, 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 blah. I haven't seen anything like that. So thankfully, I'm only going to be on here a short time, but I'm hoping for my second one. Uh, I'm hoping for my longer show later that it's not going to be an issue. So I do have that backup stream already ready to go for the second show that I'm doing later on the other channel. But if I get on there a second time and it glitches again and it cuts me off, I don't have another backup and I probably won't bother. But it's so disappointing. I know Wednesday went great. I had no issues on Wednesday, thankfully. That was nice. Okay. So anyway, yeah, those were a couple of things. And then I was going to answer a question. That's the other thing I want to do on my Sunday brief live is try to answer at least one question. Most of my Q&A will be on Wednesdays, but if I can at least address one. I had one that came in just before I went live the first time. No, they're not. The ones back behind me, those two that look like gas lanterns are battery operated. And then the little tiny lights on the flowers, I don't know if you can see them right there, are battery operated. Then I have one gas lantern, oil lantern right there lit, and then some battery operated candles. But the ones facing me are not battery. I actually have some natural colored linen hanging over them to help soften the light, both for the sake of my eyes and just the appearance. But at any rate, and I have another light back here kind of pointed more up instead of directly into my eyeballs. So I'm still playing around with the lighting. I don't like turning on the overhead fluorescence. It does make it brighter in here, but I don't like the color it makes, even though they're not the cooler color of fluorescent. But yeah, I've got 5 rows with 4 sets of fluorescent lights in each row because this was my former dance studio and martial arts studio. So we had to have all the lights in here for the sake of classes. So I never turned it was very rare I ever had all 5 rows of lights on. I usually only turned on the 3. So it'd be fun to have a video on all the rude comments that get deleted with warnings first. Okay, so the question that came in was about vinegar. So T T. Sorry, T, that happened to you. But thankfully, it wasn't me this time. I thought it happened again. I was freaking out. Then the circle of doom. Well, I kind of still have the circle going around me, but I think the linen over the lights has helped. But thanks, Tyler. Um, the question was about vinegar, and somebody said they had started their vinegar on January 26th, and it still tasted and smelled like alcohol. And they had expected it to be completely done by now. Well, first of all, not necessarily. I always look at it for at least a month. And I don't even time it anymore. I just always have it sitting on my counter and check it periodically when I know it's getting close to that time. Because vinegar sometimes is going to depend on how much sugar is in the fruit or juice that you're using and how much sugar you added, but it can take a while to work through all the sugar. And then once it's worked through all the sugar, then it still has to take it and turn it to alcohol. Then the oxygen, so that's the other very important part about vinegar making, is it needs oxygen exposure to then take that vinegar or that alcohol and turn it into acetic acid. So she didn't say whether or not she had put a lid on it, but if you've got a lid on it or have been fermenting the whole time with a lid on it, it's just going to be alcohol. You're not giving it the air it needs to turn to vinegar. But also, I mean, she's still 3 days shy of it being a whole month. And sometimes vinegar can take 6 weeks. I mean, it can take 6 weeks before it's fully vinegar, especially if it's in a cool area, which, the cooler the area is, the slower the process is. The warmer the area it's kept in, the faster it is. So you might even have vinegar in as little time as 3 weeks, as long as all those other steps are covered. The cloth cover or the coffee filter or anything that's going to allow airflow, no tight caps, no airlocks. Airlocks are used for wine and mead making, not vinegar making. So yeah, you just got to give it time. And most certainly, this is the most common mistake a lot of people will make is they think if their vinegar's not bubbling or if it still tastes like wine, it must need more sugar. No, no. If you add more sugar, you're now going to then continue to keep extending the process out. And adding more sugar that late in the game could actually stop it. And it may just be done. It may never finish. So yeah, it's gonna be naturally slower in the winter, especially if your house is not staying super warm. Ours doesn't usually stay very warm in middle of winter because we predominantly, I would say 99% of the time, only use the wood stove. But in this room, especially since we've been using it more, I do turn the heat on for a little bit on some days. When it's really cold. Usually if it's just cool, cold, normal cold for us, I don't bother with the heat. But yeah, and the only reason for that is it just takes a lot to try to push all the heat from the wood stove from the opposite side of this wall through. And I've said before, you'll see a vent right there, and then right there's 2 vents, and then I have 2 more over on that side of the room that come from the living room. They're each on either side of the wood stove because the wood stove would be right there because this is the old like fireplace chimney area here. And so that pull, we made that so it would pull the heat from the other room so we don't have to depend so much on the electric heat. But you have to run the fans for a long time and they do run off electricity and they're kind of noisy. So you get used to it, but I just prefer not to have to do that. So I cheat and turn the electric heater on, which is a big heater that hangs from a ceiling because we didn't want anything down low because of the little kids and my dance classes and whatnot. So anyway, but it's plenty warm enough in here right now. I have the heat off. I had it on earlier, but I had it on really low just to keep it from getting too chilly. I think I had it on 55. But it's plenty warm in here now. So then before I finish up my short little stint here, which, yeah, I was thinking 15 minutes to a half an hour tops. Not unless anybody has a question they want to ask now. I can answer real quick. And I'm going to go back and delete the other live that screwed up. I wanted to say, what did I want to say? Oh, let you know of a couple videos coming out this week that you guys might on this channel that you guys might find interesting. And one is, what did I say? 5 foods you may not have considered putting up, just be it for hard times or just to have on hand. And then the other one is uh, off-grid skills that you can learn now. And this would be things that don't cost, you don't have to have a high investment. They're pretty simple skills that you can start learning now that can be a good skill to have on hand that, that don't require any power and can also help in hard times. So I'm going to be covering that, and the video is already waiting to publish. So just like I said, I've got about 6 weeks. Okay. I'm going to delete this comment, and it's not because you said anything bad other than the fact that I can't talk about that. So that was pretty cute. You're okay. You're cool. However, YouTube is very, very particular about that particular topic. Yes, we do still sell them. I just cannot talk about them. So I'm sorry. So you're not in trouble. So don't leave. A lot of people just don't know that that is a taboo topic, and it's gotten me in trouble several times since they have it's a more recent taboo topic. It used to be totally fine. And ever since they decided to make it add it to the taboo list, it's got me in trouble a few times. So it's really frustrating. I know there's still people out there talking about it because they don't know any better and they haven't been caught yet. Because when they make changes like that to the rules, they don't warn you. They just add it in there, and then all of a sudden one day you get dinged and you're like, "Wait, what happened? What happened?" But yes, if you're interested in any of our products, email me at raincountryhomestead@gmail.com. I'll type it in real quick. Raincountryhomestead, if I can type without typos, at gmail.com, and I can just send you out the product list. We sell herb seeds. Patrick makes the vacuum chambers for sealing up jars. If you're putting up dry goods but you have jars that like the Food Saver jar tops won't fit on because they're kind of odd, you can put the jars in the vacuum sealer chamber that he makes and then use whether it be an electric pump or your brake bleeder pump like I like to use. So what else did I say? The skills. So I think that was everything. So did anybody else have any other questions before I get off here and then get ready for get a few chores done and then get ready for my bigger show over on the other channel about grains? Just got my meter. Can I say that one? I think so. Who knows, Tammy? Who knows? It seems like they're looking for any excuse to slap me down lately. I'm guessing you might mean TDS meter. I think you can say that. I think it's safe. So we do have one. I've only used it a few times, but yeah, I think you can say that. I think it's a safe topic as long as we don't go into what you're using it for. Unless you're just checking to see your water, what the particle content is in your water. So anyway, yeah, this is just a brief show. Part of it is just to make sure everybody knows where to go find my other what am I trying to say? The live show I'll be doing later in about an hour and 45 minutes. And let's see, let me gather that link again because I think I put it on the other one, but I didn't put it on this one. So, and I'll get that in here. So here's the link to that live show. Okay, I think the link I put in the other one was wrong. Oh, where am I? Oh, I put it in the wrong. I still have the other one open. Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm so confused here. I still got my other window open. Is this the other one? Hang on. Hang on. I'm confusing myself. There we go. There we go. So if you want to go watch me, come on live, and hopefully everything will go smoothly. When I'm talking about grains, make sure you save that link. It's on the other channel, Rain Country Live, also known as Rain Country 2. And that is where I do the bulk of my live shows. Though Sundays I like to come on here for a little bit just to remind everybody and to answer a question or two and just to show off some old books and coffee plants and whatever else I feel like showing off. So yeah, it's kind of a fun, brief little doodad I can do. Oh, and I almost forgot to say, I had it on the other stream, but I'll make sure I get the link in there later. But there's the thumbnail photo is the one that the local photographer I'm always talking about, Mathew Nichols, and let me see if I can find that again so I can give you the link to his website. He just takes such beautiful pictures of our area, and I really, really appreciate the work that he does. And he lets me use his photos, and I've done a couple of videos in regards to that. And so I like to also link people to um I'm sorry. I'm trying to do stuff at the same time that I'm trying to talk. So let me get the link to his website because he does actually still have some of the bioluminescent calendars on sale, and they're beautiful, and they're all from I think all the images on those calendars are from our area, but because he takes photos, because he travels around a lot, Washington State and Oregon, so he's got images from other local-ish areas, but most of the photos he takes are from our local beaches and other areas. One of my favorite ones he took was at Mount Rainier, and it shows right in the foreground is a mushroom, one of those spotted mushrooms I always forget the name of. They got the red cap with the white spots on it. It almost looks surreal. And then you can see Mount Rainier in the background. It's pretty cool. So I put the MJM, I put the link right up there. If you see the yellow Rain Country, that's me. And that link I put up there, two links up, because the second link is to Mathew Nichols' photography website, where he's got prints and calendars for sale. And then if you go up another one, you'll see the one to the YouTube, to the actual live that is scheduled. It hasn't obviously started yet. So I'm having problems with cam yeast is what I think you mean. You know what? It's always, I'm going to get it, it's almost always on my pineapple. It's very rare I make a pineapple rind vinegar that does not end up with cam yeast. So it's something about the pineapple. Sometimes I'll get it with my citrus peel vinegars, but the pineapple is always the worst. I just wait till it's done, and then I will strain it through a fine cloth, and that does help get a lot of that out. But if it's still, and sometimes it will taste fine after that, but if it still tastes like yeast that strong, it's totally harmless. It's not going to hurt you. But if it still has that yeasty flavor, then that's the vinegar I use to add to my chicken's water or anything that I don't want to use it in because I don't like the flavor. But if you could also use it to make an extract, a medicinal extract, because most of those don't taste very good anyway. So but I wouldn't use it for like a marinade or adding to my bread or anything like that. So Tyler, yeah, we got booted anyway, like just within, I don't know, I was only on there for a couple minutes and they booted me off. It's like good gravy. So I had to start a whole new stream. I'm hoping later when I do the one on grains, it doesn't happen. But anyway, I should probably get off here so I can save my vocal cords for the longer show. And I need to go gather some water and maybe some eggs and a few other things. I'd like to get that done before I start the second show. So that'll be in an hour and 45 minutes from the time I'm saying this, unless of course you're watching this in replay. So the link, I will go back and make sure it gets under this video, the link to that, but just make sure you'll always see the link to my Rain Country Live channel, always in the description box. That's all you got to do is go over there and subscribe, and then you'll see me when I come on live. So, need to go feed goats too. Not me, Tyler. We don't have goats. Not sure we ever will, but who knows? Who knows what the Lord has planned for us down the road. So anyway, hopefully I'll see y'all over there and that YouTube will be nice to me and let me stay on for an hour straight without getting cut off. So we'll see you later, guys. Take care. God bless.